Hello everyone, welcome back to another anime review. We are reviewing Birdie Wing's Girl Story. Now, this anime is really interesting when it comes to its four main characters. Our two caddies are pretty much, so to speak, non-existent, although one of the caddies has at least somewhat of a backstory, unlike the other caddy, but I'll explain that when we get there. We're going to start off with the two main characters. So, before we start, we're going back into the sports genre, even though the first 6 episodes have feels like it's nothing involved in fucking sports, and I'll explain that when we get there, which is going to be right now, actually. So our main protagonist is Eve. She's a blonde-haired chick who can hit the ball like a fucking revolver. Because time she hits the ball with a golf club, it goes very far. She adapts to it by using the rainbow shot. It's like she's like Yoshi from Mario 64. Mario Golf, because that's what Yoshi does. If you get a perfect shot from Yoshi, you get, when he powers up, he has a rainbow shot, and it's Mario Golf 64. That's the main gist of what she can do, okay? She can also do it with just one color instead of all the rainbows. So that's the main thing. However, when she does do a different one singular color, each color does a specific type of thing with the ball itself, and that's the main issue with it. Like, when she hits the ball with a red bullet, the red bullet is very accurate. It's like you're shooting it with a sniper rifle, and that's the real issue with it. Like, everything has to do with guns and stuff. But eventually, she turns it into a rainbow thing, and it's really beautiful on how she does it. As for a second, but the problem is with Eve is the fact that I know I'm not getting into the second main character. I do apologize. I'm just trying to explain it the best way I can. Eve, the first 6 episodes, Eve's in America. She's not in Japan. She goes to Japan, but most of the scenery are all over the place. Like, the very last tournament that they do is the British Open, and that's just plain fucking ridiculous. So they're all over the place. However, Eve is she works alongside with the fucking mafia. And that's my only problem with that. Like, every problem that the mafia tries to fix, they do it by playing a game of golf, which is perfectly fine because it's a golf anime. But the first 6 episodes, you feel like you're not watching a sports anime because it has involved the mafia, and one of the characters actually gets fucking killed. Like, the mafia kills someone because they lost a game of golf, which is kind of respectable because that's what the mafia does back in the day. But that's the main reason why the mafia is there. Now, the mafia arc sends a hitman to Eve because Eve beat her freaking opponent, and the person, because she backstabs the person of the main character, because she helps the person that she won against in the last one, and now she's going against her, and she sends a hitman to kill her. But then she realizes that we could just play a game of golf and just settle it, and she does do that, which is fine. Now, when it comes to Eve, however, her memories, she has no memories. She can't remember anything until she gets her memories, and that's when she tries to make sure that the mafia boss doesn't come after her anymore. So she plays a game of golf with her, which is, she wins, of course. However, I feel bad for her fucking caddy, because her caddy decides to go along with her. She goes along with her just because it's fucking funny. She gets all scared shitless, and then she gets a brave face on like, I'm doing this. And if she needs to realize that if Eve loses, she's also fucking dead by the mafia, which is fucking hilarious. She knows Japanese, which is, by the way, that's the other issue. That's the only other issue I have with this anime, is the fact that it's in America, but this anime is only subbed, so there's no English dub, which makes no fucking sense. But whatever, I'm not gonna explain that. But the Mafia has the first 6 episodes of the first season, and then the second season, Eve meets Away during those 6 parts, and then she goes to Japan. So she goes to Japan, okay? She goes to Japan to golf with Away, just to make sure, because she and her have a rivalry going on. Now, Away has a problem. I don't know if I'm saying her name. Her hair's dark and stuff. But her problem is the fact that she has a family complex. and it's really fucked up. First off, her dad, she thinks her dad's dead, but the dad that she thinks is her dad is Eve's dad. So I'm thinking, well, how the fuck is this happening? Well, apparently Eve's dad did not marry her mother. He married Owe's dad because Owe's dad is the coach of the best friend's mother. It's so fucking complicated and so fucking convoluted that it makes you wonder what the fuck is going on. Okay? The second thing is the fact that Eve decides to have a badass moment by telling her that one of your people that you know is lying to you. So the coach is Owe's dad, but she doesn't find out until later, which is pretty freaking ridiculous. Which, by the way, Eve does get her memories back, and when she goes back to Japan because her mother doesn't want anything to her daughter to deal with the fucking mafia, so because she's in ties with the mafia. But the main reason being is the fact that when Eve comes back to Japan, she back to America. Sorry, my apologies. She cuts all ties with the mafia, and the mafia branch that she's part of helps her out get into the golfing world, and she does do a really good job at it. It's really interesting how they do it. It's awesome, to be honest with you. However, when she wins the last tournament that they show off, she doesn't win it, and she gets her license taken away for 3 fucking years. But she does get it back though, which is perfectly fine. Which that's how they end it, by the way. But she does come back at the very last scene, so yeah. So that's the main gist of things. It's really complicated and complex and stuff like that. There are some girls that are there just for sake of golfers, you know. As for our 2 caddies, you got the girl with the glasses, which is Owe's caddy. She is the person that does technology. She reads the greens with a touchpad, so to speak. That's really interesting. But she also has a past where her parents are fucking dead, and her Owe's mother took her in, and now that she's her personal caddy. As for Eve's caddy saw her, and I feel bad for Eve's caddy because she gets into major fucking shit with the mafia because she wants to go to see Eve, and she resigns to get Eve back to make sure that she is her personal caddy. But instead, she decides to be on the caddy, and she's going on a tournament. The funny thing is, and this is the main thing that's pretty fucking funny, is that the first golf tournament, she turns up and she's in a mafia war with Eve and her fucking cronies because of what happened in the first 6 episodes of the series. So that's the funny thing about it. Now, there is another character that's called Vampire. She's there for the whole entire series. She's an underground golfer. She knows how to golf. But she is also Eve's best friend in the mafia. She leaves the mafia, gets on a boat, and then this, that, and the other thing. Although she doesn't have to do it. She's not part of the second season that much. She's just here and there sometimes. But she does come back when Eve goes back to Japan, to America, sorry. Remember, most of the setting is when they're dealing with the mafia, they're in America. When she's at school, she's in Japan. When she's in the British Open, they're in Britain. So that's the main gist of that. So golfing, what do you think about the golfing? Well, Owe's golfing technique swing is her father's, which is the guy who's kind of sick at the moment. He can swing, and when she swings the golf club, she can make the ball have flying wings. I don't know what character of Mario Golf has wings, but that's what pretty much about it. Because I know Bowser doesn't have it; he has a fireball and stuff like that. But whatever. So she can make wings, and our main protagonist Eve uses her club. Now you can't. Now if my memory serves, if you're in a fucking tournament, you can't use someone else's clubs to win a tournament because that's against the rules. And that's the main just why she probably lost it, and the fact that the last character only gets like 2 episodes of her. Well, technically 3. And that's the last episode, 3 episodes. And she doesn't really do that much. She's actually cold blooded, to be honest with you. And now the one thing I like about this anime is the fact that each character has a thing on their golf ball. Oa's golf ball has Pac-Man, which I thought was fucking funny. I thought that it was awesome that she has Pac-Man and stuff like that. Eve's has a phoenix, so to speak, a flying bird. But even though I want to have a match, but they always get intertwined. Like the one match where they are teamed up together and a doubles championship where they're working together for the same school. They decide to win that one, but they want to verse each other as pros, and that's what happens in the later half of the second season. So that's the main gist of that. Now when it comes to the time skips, however, that's really convoluted and confusing because the last episode skips at least 4 years, I believe, because 3 years her thing got provoked, and this it's just all over the place. They also skipped another year during the midway of the season because of the fact that both of their characters lose function of their body because of how much stress they're putting on their body when they're hitting the ball so many goddamn times. That's the main gist of that. And I think that's really confusing. Now, Awake comes Eve's caddy at the very last episode, which I think is really interesting, to be honest with you, but that's what the main issue with that is. But to be frankly honest with you, I'm going to give this anime an 8 out of 10 just because of the fact that all the characters thing is good. I mean, the first character that's part of the mafia, she's the only character that died. She was the main character that got Eve out of there, but then the mafia kills her, and they want to kill Eve, but Eve changes her name. Also, Eve, the main thing about Eve is that she's just golfing for money earlier in the anime because of the fact that she is trying to raise 3 immigrants, which is fine because they're kids, and also trying to make sure that all 5 people that she lives with don't lose their homes. And that's a really noble thing to do. I mean, that's what I would have done if I was in that situation. But you know, she gambles all her money away. She bows underground golfers all the damn time, and it's really interesting. Now, the only thing that I have an issue with is that there's one character that did not show up, and she showed up once trying to kill Eve with a butter knife or something like that. But after that, she just disappears. I don't know what happened to her. She might have gotten killed off camera, but that's beside the point. Because I know she was the caddy of the character that got killed by the mafia because she fucking lost. So, yeah. But I'm going to give this anime an 8 out of 10. I think it's really interesting on how they made the main reason why it's getting an 8 out of 10 is because of 2 reasons. One, why does every sports anime, when it involves someone's life, have to do with the fucking sport that they're playing? That makes no goddamn sense. Because you're born to fucking lose if you're not the main character. Like, seriously, what the fuck? And number 2 is the fact that Owain and Eve never got the chance to fight each other against a golfing tournament. And that's my main problem. So, I'm going to give this anime an 8 out of 10. I was really intrigued from the very beginning, and I was really intrigued at the very end. What are you guys' thoughts on this anime? Do you think it's a really good anime? I think it's really good. It's just that when you first get into the anime, I just want to let you know, there's a golf setting, but it's mostly involves the mafia and her talking about stuff. There are 25 episodes. They're all subbed. They're not dubbed, which makes no goddamn sense since most of the episodes are in America, which makes no fucking sense to my opinion. But there are some English words here and there, but that's beside the point. But yeah, welcome to my world, bitches. So I'm going to give this anime an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really good anime. I don't know what anime I'm going to start watching for next year, because this is going to probably be my last anime review for the last time this year, because we're getting close to Christmas. So yeah, happy holidays. Hope you guys have a nice positive day, and always take care, bitches. I always like to do that, man.